This is Mastering Your Wealth with David Gagnon, the podcast.
If you're a fan of the World Series, of course, then you know about all the attention that LA's Shohei Ohtani, right? He's a great pitcher. He can also hit. He makes a lot of money. So what also is unique about him is how he's being paid. He's actually deferring a lot of his salary until later. Get this. He only gets $2 million a year from the Dodgers. But don't feel bad for him, guys. He gets paid $100 million in endorsements. And let's see, the Dodgers can hire more players because they have more of a salary cap space, right? Because he's not taking all of that money at once. And he gets the bulk of his money late in his career after he's done paying, again, because he's deferring it. So is deferment a concept that we could also, us just regular folks, can we do that with our retirement planning?
We can if you invest correctly and have a good tax strategy in place. What I find most often, unfortunately, are people are putting as much as they can into their tax-deferred retirement accounts without looking into the future with how that might look from a tax perspective. And you really want to be not only investment diversified, but you want to be tax diversified along the way when you're working and accumulating money. Because when you get to retirement, if you're tax diversified and you know the financial recipe that makes you very tax efficient when you get to retirement, because if you understand the tax code and you understand how you should accumulate money in a tax diversified way, you could be very tax efficient in retirement where you have a portion of your money maybe in taxable investments, some in tax deferred, and a good bulk of it in tax free. Mm-hmm. But we always see people are way out of balance when it comes to future tax planning and what they're going to pay in taxes because they have too much money accumulated in tax deferred accounts. So when people reach out to us and we actually can look into the future with what they're presently doing today, we can identify these problems such as paying more than your fair share in taxes because you're going to be taking most of your money out of a taxable account. We can restructure things, put together a forward-looking tax strategy, and take better control over the taxation that you could legally avoid with good planning.
And being tax deferred, I think you're talking more about Roth conversions. Another way that we've talked on the show before about people, how you can defer some of that income for that retirement plan is, I guess you could wait longer to take Social Security, right? You don't have to take it right when you're eligible for it. You can delay it. And then let's talk about deferring annuities.
Yeah, tax deferred annuities will kind of really function the same way with such as a retirement account. You're compounding your returns into the future, but you're also compounding the tax bill because you haven't paid taxes on what you're accumulating in returns on top of the initial deposit. So that's why I think it's always important to look into the future with what you're doing with your money today so you can make better financial decisions to avoid paying more than your fair share of taxes, find a way to take advantage of tax-free accumulation. Roth conversions are one tool, but there are Roth alternative conversions that are also tax-free that we educate folks on, which are the types of things that the wealthy people use and implement. And so what I always say, it's what you don't know that hurts you more than what you do know in how you handle your money and what success you may have or what unexpected expenses you might be incurring that you don't see. We uncover these wealth transfers that occur and how people decide on how they save the money, how they invest it, and how they disperse it. You know that we work with a lot of federal employees, right? Mm-hmm. And what I see most often with federal employees, they all have pensions, and that's great. And they'll also get Social Security. But with the federal employees that we do the benefits report for their federal benefits to show them how to optimize their federal benefits, we also do a forecast for them to show them what their income in retirement will look like with their current investment plan, their resources from Social Security and pensions. And most people in their TSP plan have accumulated almost all their money in the pre-tax side of the equation. And when we show them what the required minimum distributions will look like in retirement, they're finding that they're going to have to be taking more income from their TSP than what they need to live on. Because for a lot of federal employees, they can live very comfortably when they first retire with their Social Security and their pensions, which means their TSP is compounding tax deferred for many years up until the point they have to take it. And for some, it's going to be age 73. For others, it's going to be 75. But when we work with federal employees that are younger in age and we show them what we can do in strategically realigning their retirement plan so that we can minimize their RMDs in the future, by default, they're going to accumulate better wealth or more wealth and have higher income resources that are tax-free if they decide they need to use it. So I just worked on a case a few months ago, and this is a federal employee who retired very young, age 55, has a sizable TSP, all pre-tax, and everything's growing tax deferred. He is still working at another employment in the private sector, making good income. He doesn't plan to retire for another 10 years. And he knows now, because we've done his planning, what the RMD problem is going to be like when he hits age 75. So now we're restructuring his investment strategy, his tax strategy, so that he's going to have more tax efficient income later in retirement. That's going to be tax free, because we're making some changes to his planning, because it makes a lot of sense for him, especially at his younger age. The longer that people delay in seeking out these planning opportunities, the harder it is to fix the problem and be very tax efficient and take better control over what you can do with your money, and not have the federal or the state government taking a part of it throughout the years.
So for those listening right now that go, okay, first of all, I don't even know if I'm being tax efficient. I don't even know if I'm taking advantage of these, lower tax brackets in the current year. Should I be delaying Social Security? Should I be deferring money here and there so that, in 10, 20 years, it's going to start paying me back? That's also, an annuity, which you can use that for. If you are concerned about these opportunities, if you're concerned about, you're not sure how your plan is laid out, David, how can they sit down with you? What's that first meeting like? And most importantly, what are they going to get from it?
Well, the first thing that we'd like to do for folks is do their comprehensive investment portfolio analysis, because after we have a conversation with anybody, I can assess, when I do their portfolio analysis, if their investments are truly aligned with what their financial objectives are going to need to fulfill their income gap, if they have one, or what their long-range plan is for growth of that money. But we can assess the risk that they're exposed to, whether in fact they're truly diversified, and what are some of the things that they're not taking advantage of to lower that risk, increase their yields, and then I can see how they're invested in different tax types to see if there's going to be a tax problem in the future. And when we have this discussion, there's a lot of clarity that they get out of the analysis, that we can show them what's working, what problems might lie ahead, and then when they see the value of becoming a client and working on a very personalized deep dive plan that we will design and fund it correctly and allocate your investments in the right places to optimize your needs for the solutions and benefits we see in your report, now your decisions are going to be easy, because if you know your numbers and you have a personalized strategic plan that evaluates all the moving parts, such as how to optimize your Social Security, how to optimize your pension, how to align your investments with your financial needs and objectives, short-term, long-term, and tax planning, and estate planning, and a backup healthcare strategy. All these areas impact people in different ways, but it's important to address all of them so that as a whole, you are going to get the most out of your resources for the least amount of risk and a higher probability of success and reliability. So I always encourage folks to at least take advantage of our comprehensive portfolio analysis. We do it free of charge. It's $1,000 value. And for the radio listeners, we do this all the time, which I think is very important, to have that first conversation to see how we can help them, and if in fact they do need help.
In this complimentary retirement analysis, as you mentioned here, David, usually $1,000. We're going to waive that for our radio listeners only, okay? Give a call today, 203-872-0009. That's 203-872-0009. You can get more details on the website as well at masteringyourwealthradio.com. Real quick, David, I've been with you for years doing the show. You have been in this industry for nearly 40 years. So clearly you know your way around. You've been around different presidencies. You've been around the different climates of the market, the economy, what have you. And you have worked with so many different individuals to see so many different, cases or, hopes, dreams, concerns. What I'm getting at here is, what makes you different than the big guy down the street, those big names we all know? What makes you and your approach different?
Well, when you're referring to the big box investment firms, their focus is investment planning. They want to invest your money But the question I always ask folks when they're working with a firm like that is, how does that investment advisor truly know how you should invest your money if they're not working off of a plan that's been personalized and designed around what you want to accomplish with your money, right? Short-term, long-term. It's like building a house without a set of drawings. Your financial world should be approached the same way. You should have a personalized, strategic retirement and income plan and a tax plan. And coming from a tax background, being a CPA for all the years of coming out of college, I've been able to learn the tax code, apply the opportunities of the tax code to help our clients make better decisions, especially when it comes to tax planning. So and that's a big erosion factor. So if we can reduce taxes into the future, that means you need to take less risk on your investments to overcompensate for that hole in your plan that's going to absorb money that you're not going to be able to use. The government's going to get it. And so being independent, which is very important on the insurance side of the industry and also the Wall Street side of the industry, we can employ a lot of tools at our fingertips and research and help fund the plan that we produce first and educate folks, because we're going to help them learn about things they're not taking advantage of, give them clarity about what their numbers look like going into the future, adjusted for inflation and taxes, and maybe budget for some things that they want to enjoy in retirement, such as vacations and family, and all that stuff costs money. So we do a comprehensive approach. We're not just focused on your investments. That's truly the last conversation we have as far as our investment recommendations, because we need the plan done first. So, and there's a lot of value we create because we help people avoid a lot of mistakes they make in what they do, their Social Security decisions, pension decisions, lack of a tax plan, and so on. So I'd love to sit down with you if you're really trying to put together a plan and have not done so, and get some better advice and some clarity as to how things look into the future with what you're doing today.
Give a call today. Again, 203-872-0009. That's 203-872-0009. That website, masteringyourwealthradio.com. A reader wrote into an advice column at Kiplinger.com, and they said they retired at 65 with a whopping $7.9 million, but felt like they had oversaved. Their adult son, who's in their 40s, is on a similar path and wondered if they should tell him to just reconsider this whole thing. David, what's your advice to someone like this? I mean, is it really possible to oversave when it comes to retirement? It's usually the opposite of, have I saved enough?
Yeah, I have a good number of clients that have done very well in their working years and made some very wise financial decisions, and they ended up in retirement with much more money than they needed to live on and maintain their lifestyle. And they're happy with the lifestyle spending that they have, even though they could spend more. And sometimes you have people that live above their means and some people that live below their means. And so what we try to do is assess, what do they really want to accomplish long term if they feel that they have such an excess? Do they really want to create a bigger estate for any beneficiaries, or do they want to help charities? Some people are charitable inclined. And so what we look at are good tax strategy planning for gifting to charities. And a lot of people that have an abundance of wealth and they know that they're not going to need it all, do those kind of things. They either look for ways to enhance the estate to create more wealth and leave it to beneficiaries and charities. So a lot of people that have this kind of wealth that they're not really going to spend or live on are looking for ways to have some purpose in life and using that money wisely and helping others out. I have a client I just met with actually almost the same amount of wealth. He's in his mid-70s, and he reached out to me about 15 years ago, probably about 18 years ago. And he was working with a large firm that didn't really get into tax planning. And he had a lot of money in his retirement accounts. And nobody ever mentioned the fact that when he turned 70 and a half, he was going to have to take required minimum distributions. And when I showed him what that tax bill was going to look like, he was really taken back and didn't realize that was going to be such a big erosion factor of his estate. So what we did was we put together a tax strategy, and we were able to restructure his tax diversification with the right tools. And now he's going to be in a position to, he isn't the RMD age right now, so his RMDs are lower. He's paying less taxes on those. But when we restructured his planning, we were able to create a sizable estate with using the right tools so that when he passes away, his 3 children will end up getting more tax-free money upon death. And that's what he really wanted to accomplish, along with his grandchildren. So he was able to work with us younger in age so we can create more value later. And when you wait too long in retirement to get better results with good planning and have to make some changes and pay some taxes to get to that point, you could have either small pain if you get to this point or younger in life for big gain later, or if you wait later in life, it's going to be a lot of pain for little benefit later. So, and it's all really a factor of time and having money work more efficiently over a longer period of time with good planning versus a shorter period of time. So I just think it can't hurt anybody to get a second opinion on what they're currently doing, because we see things that they haven't even thought about and some things that are there can really enhance their long-range planning.
For more details or to sit down with David for your complimentary financial GPS, visit masteringyourwealthradio.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, BWA, a registered investment advisor and an affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and First Financial Planners are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BWA, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.
Information provided is not intended as tax or legal advice and should not be relied on as such. You are encouraged to seek tax or legal advice from an independent professional.
Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone.
David Gagnon and First Financial Planners are not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.
Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interests of our clients and to make full disclosure of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure of the ADV 2A Item 4 for additional information.